Imagine waking up one morning and feeling like a stranger in your own life. Every step you've taken, every choice you've made, every sacrifice you've endured. Was it truly for yourself? Or was it to fit into a mold designed by society, family, or the expectations of those around you? You smiled when you wanted to cry. You've said yes when your soul screamed no. You've worn masks so convincingly that even you started to believe them. But deep inside, there has always been a voice, quiet, almost forgotten, whispering that this is not who you truly are. Then one day something happens. Maybe it's a small event, maybe it's a profound realization, but suddenly the illusion shatters. The veil lifts, and you see the truth. You've spent so much time pleasing others that you've forgotten yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how often do we allow ourselves that privilege? How often do we choose authenticity over acceptance? The moment you decide to reclaim your life, everything shifts. But let's be honest, choosing yourself is not easy. It means stepping into discomfort, challenging years of conditioning, and daring to disappoint those who expect you to remain the same. It means embracing solitude over shallow connections, saying no without guilt, and facing the fears that have kept you trapped. But here's the truth. On the other side of fear is freedom. Today I invite you on a journey. Not just any journey, but the most important one you'll ever take, the journey back to yourself. This path is not for the faint-hearted. It will require courage, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to your own truth. But if you stay with me, I promise you this: nothing will ever be the same again. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Wisdom Essence. Here you'll find content that challenges, inspires, and transforms the way you see yourself and the world around you. Are you ready? Let's begin. There comes a moment in life, sudden and without warning, when something inside you breaks. You wake up, look in the mirror, and realize that for too long, you have been living for everyone but yourself. Every choice, every sacrifice, every compromise was made to meet the expectations of others. You have said yes when your heart begged you to say no. You have silenced your desires, suppressed your dreams, and worn masks just to fit in. And now, standing there, you feel an emptiness, a quiet, aching void that you can no longer ignore. It is in this moment that a question rises from deep within you, one that changes everything. What if, for once, I chose me? It seems so simple, yet it shakes the very foundation of your life. Because choosing yourself isn't just a decision, it's an awakening. It's the moment you stop waiting for permission and start reclaiming your truth. Carl Jung once said, "Man's fulfillment comes through the discovery of himself." But how often do we truly allow ourselves to embark on that journey? How often do we put aside the fear of rejection and dare to live in a way that honors who we truly are? The moment you begin to choose yourself, the world around you will react. Some will look at you with suspicion, others will call you selfish, and some may even walk away. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your transformation forces them to question their own lives. For years, they were comfortable with the version of you who was always available, always accommodating, always putting others first. Now that you have chosen to set boundaries, to say no, to stand in your own power, their illusion of control shatters. And not everyone is ready for that. But here's the truth: you haven't changed. You are simply returning to who you were always meant to be. The path of authenticity is not for the faint-hearted. It requires courage to walk away from roles that no longer serve you. It demands strength to endure the discomfort of disappointing others. But in the end, the people who truly matter will stay. They will recognize you not for the role you played in their lives, but for the person you truly are. For so long you have searched for validation, believing that love, acceptance, and respect could only come from external approval. But the reality is different. Your power was never in the hands of others, it has always been within you. And now, it's time to reclaim it. When you finally choose yourself, something incredible happens. The weight of expectations, the constant need to prove yourself, and the fear of judgment begin to fade. You no longer feel the pressure to be who others expect you to be, nor do you carry the burden of guilt for wanting something different. The endless chase for approval loses its grip on you, and for the first time you breathe, fully, deeply, freely. You realize that the greatest freedom is not found in acceptance from others, but in the courage to live according to your own truth. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming the most authentic version of yourself, not the version molded by society's expectations, not the one shaped by family's desires. And the greatest consequence of this journey is liberation. You will feel lighter, as if a burden you didn't even realize you were carrying has finally been lifted. You will feel stronger, more connected to yourself, no longer seeking validation from sources that could never truly fulfill you. And most importantly, you will feel aligned, as though for the first time in your life, you are moving in the right direction. Every decision you have made until now was influenced by the need to please, the fear of rejection, and the longing to belong. But when you finally choose yourself, the past loses its power over you. You stop justifying who you are. You stop fearing those who don't understand your journey. You stop trying to fill the emptiness with external approval because you come to understand a fundamental truth. You are and always have been enough. Jung once said that the journey toward yourself requires immense courage, not the kind of fleeting bravery that comes in moments of impulse, but a deep, unwavering strength, the kind that allows you to step away from everything familiar and comfortable and instead turn inward. For so long, you have been taught to look for answers outside yourself. You were told that happiness lies in approval, that success is measured by external validation, that love must be earned by being who others want you to be. But then, something shifts. A quiet realization emerges. The answers you have been seeking were never out there. They were within you all along. And here's the fascinating thing. When you finally make a decision that is truly authentic, life responds. Have you ever noticed how, in those rare moments when you listen to your intuition, everything around you seems to fall into place? People you never expected to meet suddenly cross your path. Opportunities that once seemed impossible open up effortlessly. Obstacles that once held you back dissolve, replaced by a new sense of clarity and direction. It's as if the universe itself is rearranging to support your choice. Jung called this synchronicity, the profound alignment between your inner truth and the external world. But this is not magic. It is not luck. It is the natural consequence of living in harmony with your essence. When you stop resisting who you are, when you stop forcing yourself into roles that don't fit, the energy around you realigns. Wrong situations fade away. Toxic relationships lose their grip. The things that were never meant for you begin to disappear, not because you are running away, but because they no longer hold power over you. And in their place, something beautiful happens. You create space for what you truly need to grow. But be careful. Synchronicity does not mean that the road ahead will be smooth. Choosing yourself does not guarantee an easy path. In fact, it often brings the opposite. There will be moments of doubt where your old self and your new self collide, leaving you torn between the person you were and the person you are becoming. There will be people who resist your transformation, who try to pull you back into familiar patterns, not because they wish you harm, but because your change forces them to confront their own stagnation. There will be days when you question whether you are making the right choice, when fear whispers that it would be easier to go back, to shrink yourself again. And yet, it is in these very moments of struggle that you must trust yourself the most. If things begin to unfold naturally, if doors open without force, if you find yourself surrounded by people who uplift and inspire you, pay attention. It is not a coincidence. It is a sign that you are on the right path, that you are finally moving in tune with your true self. But here's the hardest part of all. When you choose yourself, you may feel alone at first. This is the stage of transformation where many people turn back, mistaking loneliness for failure. You will notice the silence left behind by those who no longer resonate with your energy. You may feel as if you are standing in uncharted territory, without a guide, without familiar comfort. But what if loneliness is not an enemy? What if it is instead an opportunity? An opportunity to hear your own voice without the noise of others' expectations. An opportunity to rediscover yourself, not as the person others shaped, but as the person you were always meant to be. An opportunity to heal the wounds of seeking love in the wrong places, to let go of the need for constant validation, and to build a life that reflects your deepest desires. And then, something incredible happens. You start to love your own company. You realize that you no longer need toxic people, that you no longer have to accept less than you deserve, that you are not defined by how much you sacrifice for others. Because you have finally understood something fundamental. You are enough. Always. At first, loneliness can feel like a burden, a heavy silence that lingers in spaces once filled with the voices of others. It can feel like an emptiness, an uncomfortable void that you instinctively want to fill, with distractions, with familiar routines, with people who no longer align with who you are becoming. The temptation to go back is strong. The pull of the past, of the known, whispers that it would be easier to return, to shrink, to slip back into the version of yourself that once fit neatly into the expectations of others. But if you can resist that urge, if you can sit in the stillness and allow yourself to truly feel it, you will realize something extraordinary. That silence is not an absence. It is a space, a wide open space filled with possibility. A space where the real transformation begins. For the first time, you have room to breathe, room to explore the parts of yourself that you had long ignored. Forgotten passions resurface. Old dreams, once buried under the weight of responsibility and expectation, begin to stir again. You find a version of yourself that was always there, waiting, hoping, longing to be acknowledged. And as you lean into that space, something remarkable happens. You stop fearing loneliness because you realize it was never loneliness at all. It was an invitation to meet yourself fully, to step into your own presence without hesitation. And in that moment, you are no longer searching for someone or something to complete you. You are no longer desperate for validation, for external confirmation of your worth, because you have finally understood that you are already complete. Carl Jung left us with one of the most profound truths of all. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. For so long you sought fulfillment outside yourself. You chased approval, thinking it would bring peace. You shaped your life based on the expectations of others, believing that acceptance would lead to happiness. But the life you truly want, the one that brings you meaning, purpose, and deep satisfaction, will never come from external sources. It will not be built on what others think of you. It will not be the result of avoiding disappointment or playing it safe. It will be the result of one decision, the decision to choose yourself. If these words resonate with you, know this. This is only the beginning. The road ahead is uncharted, uncertain, and at times challenging. But it is yours. No one else can walk it for you. And that is the beauty of it. So now I ask you, are you ready to make the choice that will change your life? If this message has touched something deep within you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the world does not need more people who simply conform. The world needs more people who have the courage to be themselves. Choosing yourself is not just a decision. It is an act of inner revolution. It means breaking free from the habit of living for others and stepping boldly into alignment with your true essence. It is not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old ways try to pull you back. There will be days when change feels overwhelming, when the fear of the unknown grips you tightly. But know this, remaining chained to a life that does not feel like yours is far more painful than facing the uncertainty of transformation. Jung taught that true change begins the moment you find the courage to look within. to listen to the voice that has been silenced for too long, to embrace the shadows, the fears, the discomfort, and to turn them into strength. And if you are waiting for the perfect moment to begin, stop waiting. There is no perfect moment. The perfect time is now. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need a perfectly mapped out plan or the certainty of what lies ahead. Transformation doesn't require you to see the entire path. It only asks that you take the first step, a step toward yourself, a step toward freedom, a step toward finally embracing the person you were always meant to be. If you feel stuck today, if you feel like you're trapped between who you are and who the world expects you to be, know this: every great change begins with a single decision. The decision to stop settling. The decision to stop living on autopilot. The decision to stop silencing your inner voice and start creating a life that reflects what truly matters to you. And that choice, it starts right now. If these words have resonated with you, I want to hear from you. What does choosing yourself mean to you? Every story is unique. Every experience holds wisdom. And sometimes the simple act of sharing your truth can inspire someone else to find their own. Because at the end of the day, life doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It doesn't wait for the right moment or the right circumstances. Life begins the moment you decide to truly be yourself. We hope this video has inspired and encouraged you on your journey. If you found value in these words, don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom Essence for more content that challenges, uplifts, and transforms. And if this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. We'll see you in the next video.